How to build an emergency fund that will help you save for unexpected expenses. Everyone has been affected by unexpected financial challenges at some point in their lives. Car repairs, medical bills, and sudden job loss are just a few examples of events that can disrupt your financial stability. That's where an emergency fund comes in. This safety net of savings can help you bounce back quickly from these setbacks without going into debt. In this video, we will walk you through how to build an emergency fund. But before we dive into that, if you find our videos helpful, please do us a favor and support us by subscribing and hitting the bell icon so that you never miss any of our helpful tips. Understand why an emergency fund is important before diving into the steps. Take some time to think about why an emergency fund is important when life throws you a curveball, such as a car breakdown, an unexpected medical bill, or even a job loss. Having an emergency fund can be a lifesaver. It acts as a buffer between you and your long-term financial goals, preventing you from dipping into retirement savings or taking on high-interest debt to cover these unexpected expenses. An emergency fund can also bring you peace of mind knowing that you have a financial safety net to fall back on if something goes wrong. It's a safety valve that reduces stress and allows you to make rational decisions during tough times. By setting aside money for emergencies, you are protecting yourself against life's uncertainties and ensuring that you are always prepared for whatever may come your way. Set a clear goal. When setting up an emergency fund, it's essential to have a clear goal in mind. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. This means calculating your monthly expenses, including housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation, and then multiplying that number by the number of months you want to cover. The ideal amount will vary based on your individual circumstances, such as your family size, lifestyle, and employment stability. For example, if you're single and have a stable job with a low cost of living, you may feel comfortable with a smaller emergency fund, say 3 months of expenses. However, if you have a family to support a higher cost of living or an unstable job, you may want to aim for a larger fund, such as 6 months or more of living expenses. No matter what your goal is, having a clear target will help you stay motivated and focused on building your emergency fund. Once you've determined your target amount, break it down into smaller monthly or even weekly savings goals to make it more manageable. By setting a clear goal and a timeline for when you want to achieve it, you'll be more likely to stay on track and build your emergency fund successfully. Start small, but start now. When building your emergency fund, it's essential to start as soon as possible. Even if you can only afford to save a small amount each week, the key is to start now and be consistent with your savings. Many people wait until they have a lot of extra money to start saving for emergencies, but this can delay their financial security. Instead, focus on building a habit of saving a little bit each month and increasing that amount over time. For example, you could start by saving $100 or 1 month's expenses, and then gradually increase your savings goal over time. If you're able to save more in the future, great, but don't let that stop you from starting now. Any amount saved is better than nothing! Remember, the goal is to build an emergency fund that will cover your expenses for several months. So start small, but start now and be consistent with your savings. Open a separate account to effectively build an emergency fund. It's crucial to open a separate account specifically for this purpose. Doing so will help you avoid accidentally spending the money on non-emergencies. A separate account will keep your emergency fund distinct from your everyday spending money. You can choose to keep your emergency fund in a high-yield savings account or a money market account for easy access and a modest return on your investment. Consider opening an account at a different bank than you use for your day-to-day finances to make it less tempting to dip into your emergency savings. By having a separate account for your emergency fund, you'll be less likely to spend it on non-essential items and more likely to use it for its intended purpose. Automate your savings. Automating your savings is one of the most effective ways to build an emergency fund. By setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account, you can ensure that you're consistently putting money aside for emergencies without even thinking about it. This approach allows you to save money effortlessly and stay focused on your long-term financial goals. To automate your savings, log into your bank account and set up a recurring transfer from your checking account to your savings account. You can choose to transfer a fixed amount each month or a percentage of your paycheck. For example, if you receive a paycheck every 2 weeks, You could set up an automatic transfer for 10% of each paycheck to go directly into your savings account. By automating your savings, you will be able to build your emergency fund much faster and ensure that you always prepared for unexpected expenses. Cut unnecessary costs. One effective way to boost your savings is by cutting unnecessary costs from your budget. By reducing your spending on non-essential items, you can redirect that money towards building your emergency fund. Start by tracking your expenses for a few weeks to identify areas where you can cut back. This might include things like subscription services you're not using, frequent takeout meals, or impulse purchases. Once you've identified areas to cut back, create a plan to reduce your spending in those areas. For example, if you have multiple subscription services, consider canceling the ones you don't use regularly. If you frequently eat out, try cooking more meals at home. By making small changes like these, you can free up more of your income to save for emergencies. Use extra income wisely when it comes to building an emergency fund. It's essential to use any extra income you receive wisely. This includes bonuses, tax refunds, and income from side hustles. Instead of spending this money on non-essential items, consider allocating it towards your emergency fund. For example, if you receive a bonus at work, decide to put a portion or all of it into your emergency savings. Similarly, when you receive a tax refund, consider directing that money towards your emergency fund rather than spending it on vacations or other non-essential items. By using extra income wisely and allocating it to your emergency fund, you'll be able to reach your savings goal faster and provide yourself with a greater sense of financial security. Don't forget to add to it regularly. Once you've built your initial emergency fund, it's essential to continue adding to it regularly. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected expenses can arise even after you've saved up your initial emergency fund. By making regular contributions to your emergency fund, you'll be able to stay prepared for whatever comes your way. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account, so that a fixed amount is added to your emergency fund each month. This will help you stay consistent with your savings and ensure that your emergency fund is always topped up. Additionally, consider setting short-term savings goals to add more money to your emergency fund. For example, you could challenge yourself to save an extra $50 or $100 each month and put it towards your emergency savings. By making a conscious effort to add to your emergency fund regularly, you'll be able to build a robust financial safety net that will protect you against life's uncertainties. Use it only for true emergencies. Finally, it's essential to remember that your emergency fund is there to be used for true emergencies only. While it's tempting to use this money for non-essential expenses, such as a vacation or a new gadget, it's crucial to reserve it for critical situations, such as medical issues, job loss, or urgent home repairs. If you use your emergency fund for anything other than a true emergency, you'll need to replenish it, which can take time and additional effort. To avoid dipping into your emergency fund for non-essential expenses, consider setting up a separate savings account for those purposes. Having a clear distinction between your emergency fund and other savings will help you avoid confusion and ensure that you're using your emergency funds appropriately. Building an emergency fund is an essential step towards achieving financial stability and peace of mind. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can create a reliable safety net to protect yourself against unexpected expenses and life's uncertainties. Remember to start small, but start now. Automate your savings. Cut unnecessary costs. Use extra income wisely. Add to it regularly. And use it only for true emergencies. By following these guidelines, you will be well on your way to building an emergency fund that will serve you well in the years to come.